So Ivy, how are things back in India?
Yeah, struggling. And along with the COVID problems, we also have a lot of political problems.
Hmm.
Every party trying to show their importance, and as a result, so-called medical issues are getting sidelined.
Hmm.
Very unfortunate.
Mhm. In other words, nothing has changed.
You thought it will change so fast?
Already you look very sleepy because it's so early.
Hello.
Rajka is just joined.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Morning, Rashmi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you, ma'am?
Hi. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Let me introduce you are the son of Mr. Venkatramani, older son, and Gautam, younger son of Mr. Venkatramani. Rashmi is the president of SAE India and director of the AIT. He wants to be director of the AIT.
I've had the pleasure of listening to you many times, ma'am, as
Yes,
an
yes.
ARAI representative in ACMA meetings.
Mr.
Yes.
Mahadevan, your
Indeed.
voice is very low. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you have to increase the volume.
My voice is very low, is it?
Yeah.
No, now it is better. Now it is better.
I'm wondering whether it's because of the mask that I'm wearing.
Yeah, I think it is
Yes,
because of the
perhaps. Yeah.
Possible.
Maybe I can do without it for the moment.
We are all inoculated and
Yeah.
calculated risk we have to take.
Do I see Ram? Do I see Ram in the center?
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Of course,
light
yes.
is not very, it's not very clear to me. Ram, I don't know whether you remember seeing me, but this is a very mixed feeling occasion. I used to be very close to your dad thanks to Dr. Mahadevan.
Yes. No, I recall us meeting in Chennai as well.
You were still very young at that time. First time when I met you, you were really, really young. Or I have become very old, so I don't know.
It's all relative, Murali.
Yeah, I know. But we really miss him. Actually, I tell you, one of the finest jewels of our industry and our fraternity. I will never forget Mr. Ramni. He was one of the best. Without him, I don't think we wouldn't have been where we are. Very few people would be knowing about it. So.
True. You're one of the few.
And remember Dr. Mahadevan, how he came. You and he were in 2003 our guest of honor in the Detroit World Congress. He was so down to earth. Everybody was so impressed by him. He was a special guest of honor. He was among the world's top. I think it was 150 CEOs among whom he came on the stage. It was
Unforgettable memories.
a lot of memories.
Doctor, do you want to wait just 2-3 more minutes? We are expecting some more executives to join us.
Just 2-3 minutes more anyway.
Yes.
So, wait for 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. And I think Venkat is also to join us from SAE.
He must be on the way.
Yes, he confirmed to me at 2 o'clock. He will be here 10 minutes early.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Raj University. How are you? We met, you remember, about 4 years back?
Of course.
In CTDG,
Yes.
when you were still, yeah?
How are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Hello, sir.
No, don't come this way. So the end of the
That's for you.
He was just mentioning what happened to Venkatraj. Yes.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening. How are you, Venki?
So Nagaraj is joined also from Anna University.
Yes.
And also Venkatraj. Keshadri, how are you? Good.
Good evening, Ayurasa.
Hi.
We went to Dr. Nagarajan's office. I saw Murli also. Morning, Murli.
Hi. Hello. Good morning.
Good to see
Or good
you.
evening your time.
Yes, yes.
Morning, Murli and Eve.
Oh, good morning. Hi. Hi. Oh, Anu.
Morning, Anup sir.
Morning, madam.
How are you?
Rather evening, madam.
Good evening.
Who
Yes.
are
Ah,
relating it to Murli.
Till afternoon, yeah.
Well, since we are meeting for the first time, good morning is
Good
also
morning,
fine.
actually. Yes.
Hey, Manak. How are you, ma'am?
Hello, how are you?
Oh, hello,
Seeing you after a long time.
Fine, fine.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we all could be physically present there in
Yes.
Chennai today for this wonderful
Yeah,
event.
it would have been a great occasion.
Correct. We have actually extended to all MC members, SAE India MC members, but
Yeah.
I think it's being the first day of the week.
And short notice.
Yeah.
We have actually received the virtual background that was sent by Lango. But due to some reasons, technical reasons, I am unable to have set the virtual background.
Even I was not able to do it. It gave some error,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would have been nice to have that. So, can we start off?
So, sir, I think maybe we should.
Yeah. So, 4 o'clock. I suppose it's time to start. To start with, we will say a prayer. Sada bala rupa vighnagrihantri mahadam trivatra vipanchasyamanya Vidindradiyatyaya yashodha vidhame vithattam shriyam dadi kalyanamasti. Shloka by Adi Shankaracharya in praise of the Christian Lord. So with that prayer, we will start the meeting. Today, it is an auspicious day. It's auspicious because we are embarking on carrying forward the legacy of our beloved chairman, J.M. Venkatram. Before we get on with the proceeding, let me first welcome all my friends from SAE, which includes the president, Srimati Rashmi Udharesan, Mr. I.V. Rao, president of SAE Foundation, Mr. Murali, member of the managing committee and global advisor, ex-global advisor of SAE International, and other members like Dr. Nagarajan and others who are participating in today's present function. I also wish to extend a warm welcome to my colleagues and friends from IP Rings, India Systems, and the other group companies, the amalgamations group, which includes our respected chairman, Mr. A. Krishnamurthy, and other dignitaries. I also wish to extend a warm welcome to the members of Mr. Venkatachalam's family, which includes, of course, Srimati Sita Venkatachalam, Mr. Venkatachalam's sons, Mr. Ram Venkatachalam, Mr. Gautam Venkatachalam, the families, and Mr. A. Krishnamurthy, our child. Today, we are planning to create an endowment with SAE India Foundation in order to recognize a young engineer who demonstrates outstanding capabilities in innovation in the field of mobility. Of course, SAE Foundation will finalize the criteria that will be used for selecting the candidate who will receive the award. And the award itself will go by the name of Mr. N. Venkatachalam. I think it will be in order for me to say a few words about the appropriateness of creating such an award. Mr. N. Venkatachalam was himself a brilliant engineer. Having had his postgraduate mechanical engineering degree from Imperial College, London, he had his practical training in Lucas Engineering, UK, and Associated Engineering Limited, UK. He was married to the daughter of the legendary Mr. S. Sanantharamakrishnan, the founder of the renowned amalgamation school. He joined the group in the company India Business Limited in 1967, which also happens to be the year. He joined the company as manager manufacturing services and rose to the position of chairman manager, which position he held till his unfortunate passing away. Mr. Venkatachalam, in later years, was more involved as a technocrat and business leader in managing companies and their performances. But deep inside his heart, he was always an engineer. He always used to feel happy in the company of engineers, in spite of the fact that he had to deal with a lot of balance sheets and P&L statements. He was always happy in the company of engineers. He was himself president of several trade associations and professional societies. And he encouraged his own engineers in the companies where he was heading to take active part in professional societies. Many of the engineers working in the group companies got their postgraduate degrees and PhDs as part-time scholars because of the support he extended. He was active in several professional societies, and his contribution to manufacturing technology actually earned him the fellowship of the Institute of Mechanical Engineers, UK. And his leadership, particularly in technology, in the automobile ancillary industries, earned him the fellowship of the Indian Academy, Indian National Academy of Engineers, INAE. And even though he was active in many professional societies, he was partial to SAE because he, in his heart, in fact, he was closest to SAE and its activities. He accompanied, along with me, he visited many congresses and expositions of SAE International in Copenhagen and Toronto. And in one such event in 2003, he was chosen as one of the honored guests from abroad by SAE International. It is therefore most appropriate that to perpetuate his memory and his contribution to the engineering profession, in particular the mobility profession. The company, IP Links, which was founded by him, decided to create an endowment in SAE Foundation that will encourage young engineers to innovate and contribute to greener mobility. It is this desire of the company and Ram, who is the managing director of the company, to take a decision to establish an endowment that will motivate young engineers to innovate. With those few words, I would now like to request Mr. I.V. Rao to explain the award, the nature of the award, and how SAE Foundation is going to go about instituting this award. Mr. I.V. Rao.
Thank you, Mr. Mahadevan. Mr. Ram Venkatramani, MD, IPR, Dr. Mahadevan, Director, IPR, Rashmi Urdhvar, President, SAE India, other MC members of SAE India, Mr. Murali Iyer, International Advisor, and colleagues from SAE India Foundation, and friends. We are all here for a virtual meeting organized by IPR to sponsor an endowment fund in SAE India Foundation for recognizing innovative work in green mobility. SAE India is working to develop skill level of engineering students and the industry professionals through various activities like student competitions, technical seminars, conferences, webinars, etc., playing critical role in exposing these new technologies to both engineering students, academia, and the industry professionals. In line with SAE Foundation, SAE India Foundation was formed as an independent society in 2001 in New Delhi under the able leadership of Dr. K. Kumar, with main objective of to inspire the next generation of innovators by support through scholarships, outstanding and needy students for higher education in engineering, to sponsor technical lectures, seminars, conferences, and expositions, etc., for benefit of industry, institutions, and mobility community, to provide financial assistance for conducting research in mobility engineering, and lastly, to recognize outstanding contributions made to mobility by SAE members, both practicing engineers, students, and academia. SAE Foundation has been recognizing the outstanding mobility engineers for the last few years. The students, academia, and engineering professionals for their important contributions impacting the mobility industry and society at large. This includes award of scholarships, financial assistance to students, and other outstanding contributions for advancing the cause of mobility technology. All this was possible because of generous contributions SAE India Foundation has received from members of mobility industry for instituting awards for outstanding contribution to the mobility industry. I recollect the initial awards function used to be organized coinciding with SAE International President's visit, and the first award was in the name of Kalpana Chawla for Best Female Engineer from SAE student members in 2003. I would like to make a special mention that Mr. Rakesh Sood, MD TRIMS India, was the first to come forward to sponsor Kalpana Chawla Award with cash award of rupees 10,000. Subsequently, these were increased to 3 awards for best 3 female students. Since then, many categories for awards have been added, and many auto component manufacturers, the test agencies like ARI and ICAT have sponsored various awards which are to be given every year. Mr. Murali Iyer had sponsored an award for Best Paper Presentation in memory of his late wife, Mrs. Revati Iyer. Last year, SAE India Foundation has instituted an award for outstanding contribution to aerospace industry in India as designed by Dr. Richard Greaves, the previous ex-president of SAE International. He had contributed 10,000 US dollars to SAE India Foundation for this award to be given every year. Dr. Greaves was personally present for the award function on 10th February 2020 to present the award to the winners. Dr. Krishna Kumar was the founder president of SAE India and Northern India section, who was the main architect for development of SAE activities, who died on 30th October 2018. In his honor and remembrance, SAE India Foundation has instituted an award, Dr. Krishna Kumar Award for Excellence in Quality, carrying a cash prize of 1 lakh rupees, which was again sponsored by Mr. Rakesh Sood, Managing Director, TRIMS India. SAE India Foundation has been recognizing outstanding mobility engineers over the last few years with 74 awards in 17 different categories every year. SAE India Foundation and SAE India India are working together to identify new areas for recognition and enlarge the categories of awards. This would be only possible with support from the auto industry and other organizations to sponsor the awards. I am extremely happy to know that India Piston and Piston Rings Limited is today announcing sponsorship to create an endowment to award practicing engineers for their innovative idea implementable for sustainable green mobility. I would like to thank Mr. Ram and late Venkatam Ramani's family for this initiative. The award is like, we are proposing to call this award as N. Venkatramani Award for Green Mobility. The award will go to individual or a group of individuals who have developed and implemented a high degree of innovation in the area of green mobility. The awardee can be a mobility professional from any stream of engineering and a practicing engineer from industry, academia, or a student in R&D, doing R&D, working on green mobility. This will be an annual award administered by SAE Foundation, and the award committee of SAE India will finalize the criteria for selection.
पण ते TDS डिडक्ट केले तर त्यांना हे काय मिळेल आता?
SAE India Foundation Awards Committee will be responsible for finalizing awardees from the nominations received from SAE India India sections. An endowment with a corpus of rupees 10 lakhs and the interest from this endowment will be used for providing cash award and the citation to the winner. The award will be given in the annual function by SAE India Foundation. I hope this initiative from IPR will trigger many more organizations to contribute generously towards awards for recognizing the contribution of engineers, students, and academia for mobility. Due to COVID restrictions, we are not able to travel to Chennai to personally receive the sponsorship. We have requested Mr. Venki, Director General, DDG SAE India office in Chennai, to receive the same on behalf of SAE India Foundation. Thank you. I would like to once again thank India Piston Rings Limited for their generous contribution for this award. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rao. You have covered the SAE Foundation's award activities very well. Given us a good idea of all the activities of SAE Foundation. We're really managing a large number of selection and awarding of appropriate persons. Thank you. May I now request Ms. Rashmi Udgareshi to share her thoughts about SAE's contribution to mobility engineering in India.
Thank you, Dr. Mahadevan. Mr. Ram, leadership team at India Pistons, leadership team at SAE India, my colleagues at both these organizations. It is indeed a proud privilege to be a part of this wonderful event. Especially, I'm happy because this has happened during the Silver Jubilee year celebration for SAE India. We have been in India for 25 years now. Um, in these 25 years, we have achieved a lot and we aspire to achieve much more. My personal interaction, I do remember with Mr. Venkatramani. I met him first when he visited us at ARA, and I was just, I think, more or less like a junior engineer that time. And I had a close interaction with him to understand what all ARA can do for the testing that we were doing at that time for India Pistons. I saw in him a wonderful person, in fact. Very soft spoken, very knowledgeable, and very supportive and technically extremely high valued leader that I saw in him. Subsequently, I had an opportunity to closely interact with Mr. Ram also, and as mentioned in ACMA and several other events. I think he has that reflection of his father, and I'm really looking forward to his leadership to IP. At SAE, as well as, you know, um, we we look at the association with Indian Pistons from the technology, innovation, and Dr. Mahadevan, you mentioned Mr. Venkatramani's zeal and enthusiasm in engaging with engineering professionals. That exactly is the common thread that runs currently between SAE India and India Pistons. And I'm very happy that we would be jointly able to nurture these high values for technology and innovation through such awards that we can bring to our stakeholders. This bond, therefore, I wish to continue, and especially on the time where we are at the crossroads of, transition from conventional fuels to more sustainable mobility, and therefore, India Piston's decision to install an award for somebody who can contribute to green mobility is a wonderful gesture. At SAE India, we are not just automotive oriented organization, but we have a very strong aerospace as well as off-highway basic verticals, which have a very integrated approach towards a deployment of high technology. We also are fortunate to have spread of our membership from young engineers, aspiring engineers, to faculty members and to professionals. SAE India is very proud to bring all these strong pillars of engineering into our membership related activities. We therefore give value to all the three pillars of our membership. We also are fortunate to have a very close interaction and guidance from SAE International. That gives us an opportunity to bring into India conferences which carry very high level of technical expertise. And particularly happy that Mr. Murli Iyer is present today, which speaks for itself that the commitment of SAE International that has in SAE India. Particularly, I would like to here express my sincere thanks to Dr. Mahadevan, who thought about SAE as the right organization where Mr. Venkatraman's legacy and the inclination for awarding the technology experts that came into his mind. And I'm also very thankful to India Pistons management and particularly Ram, the family which is behind this, to come forward and to express this magnanimity in coming forward and installing this award. As I mentioned, in the changing scenario, fossil fuels to green mobility and sustainable mobility, that's exactly where SAE India's contributions are also immensely happening. And we are not just working on electrification, but we are also looking at other fuels, biofuels, hydrogen, and several other options. So, with that small introduction, I would like to express my sincere thanks, and the entire team of SAE India would like to thank India Pistons, the family of Mr. Venkatramani, and everyone who has made this possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all also for carrying the torch of SAE forward. You know, Mr. Venkatraman always believed that technology is the engine of growth. If you're strong in fundamentals, you don't worry about various changes that take place on the periphery, because you will have the strength of tackling whatever changes that happen. As you know very well, the mobility scene is undergoing a tremendous change, which it has not seen in several decades in the past. And so the mobility professionals themselves have to actually reorient themselves. Sometimes unlearn, sometimes learn new things. But if you are strong in your fundamentals, then you can face all challenges. And a person like you with the background of ARA, you are the fittest person to carry this torch forward, because you believe in technology as the fundamental bedrock of growth. Thank you, Rashmi. Mr. Murli Iyer has been a close associate of Mr. Venkatraman in the formative years of SAE India. I now remember that almost every one of the visit of SAE International President, when it happens in Chennai, Venkatraman used to be the permanent host. He used to invite him for lunch or dinner or for a factory visit or something like that. And he used to be always on the scene when the international president comes in. Because I know him very well, because I used to do the legwork of getting him here, taking him and all that. So I know that he was so keen on getting them to Chennai, because you know the headquarters activities of SAE India was happening in Chennai. So the SAE International President, when he visits India, cannot avoid Chennai. And so almost every one of the SAE International Presidents was a guest of Mr. Venkatraman at some time or the other. And also another thing I can mention is that whenever SAE India had to organize some conference or some seminar or some exhibition or mobility congress or something of that kind in those days, when it was very hard to get patents, Venkatraman was the first one to be ready to be taken in as a patent. I always thought he was a permanent patent. They printed me out of it. He used to be so considerate to professional activities, because I think he knew the trouble that these guys are going through in getting the resources for organizing events of that nature, particularly technical events of that nature. Those days, I'm not talking 25, 30 years ago. So Mr. Murli Iyer has always been also, because he used to accompany every one of the SAE International Presidents, so he was close to Mr. Venkatraman every time, because he was a common man, irrespective of the international presidency every year. Mr. Murli Iyer May we request you to say a few words on this occasion?
Thank you, Dr. Mahadevan. Well, you guys all covered everything that I wanted to say, but I had a very special relationship, thanks to Dr. Mahadevan, with Mr. Venkatramani and his family. Uh, he was beyond anything else. He was a perfect human being. He's a wonderful person. Every time we used to meet with him, he would meet with us not only very warmly, but would always come out with some great ideas that we could implement for the benefit of SAE India. I remember earlier Ivy Rao talked about the history of SAE India Foundation, but many of you may not be aware of the fact that in 2001, or rather 2000, year 2000, when I came to India with Mr. Don Abelson, who was the chief engineer, he was the CTO of General Motors, uh, also serving as the president of SAE Foundation, proposed that we should create a mirror organization of SAE Foundation in India. And Dr. Kumar and Mr. Rao and myself were in that room, and we said, well, we were looking at each other. We said we do not have any such model in India, and we were not very sure whether corporates would come forward to support the cause as they do it in the United States. And lo and behold, Mr. Don Abelson took out his checkbook and he said, Murli, shall I write the first check to establish the SAE India Foundation? And we took that as a challenge. And we said, if a foreigner could come to our country and challenge us, why can't we do it? And that led to the beginning of the SAE India Foundation. And with people like Mr. Rakesh and other support, corporate support, SAE India Foundation was established. And I'm very happy that over the years, corporations like ICAT and ARAI and other organizations have come forward and helped, not to the extent that I was expecting, but nevertheless. So this is a very, very important step, Ram, and congratulations to you and to your family and to Mrs. Venkatramani for supporting this very important initiative. I'm sure that Dr. Mahadevan must have played the very important role of bringing us all together and making this huge contribution for the benefit of the Indian society. Unless corporations like yours come forward and create these kinds of endowments for the benefit of the future generation, and the subject that you have chosen, particularly the green mobility, which is very close to my heart, nothing would be able to be achieved. So congratulations to you, to the entire IP family, for your very generous contribution. I think this will also set a excellent example for other corporates to follow. And I think I'm also personally committed to that cause, where I want to raise more and more money for the spread of many of the messages that are important for the Indian society in general. We are not only serving the mobility community, but we are serving the mobility community to serve the entire humanity. So things like safety, things like environment, these are very, very important issues to be engaged in. And unless we have such contributions from a company like yours, this is not possible to be achieved just by government grant or individual very small contributions. So thank you very much. I hope that this will be not just the one-time contribution. I'm sure that IP will continue to support SAE India's causes as they have done in the past. As Dr. Mahadevan said, your father was one of the best. He always very willingly, despite his very busy schedule, always whenever we approached him and we said, sir, would you be able to come over here, would you meet with us, would you come over there, he would always without any hesitation, oh yeah, Murli, just and Dr. Mahadev and I would look at each other and say, wow, what a wonderful person. So I really miss him today, but I also want to say my sincere thanks to your family, to all the people present in the room, I'm sure who have all worked very hard to make this happen. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you on behalf of SA International as well. for continuing to do what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Such an early time in US, you sound as if you've been working right through the day. You said the most appropriate words for a day, because I know that you were very close to Mr. In fact, if you remember, when we visited Pittsburgh and in Detroit, we always find time to be together, at least last week, even if we were not, doing anything specific. But I know that you were also very close to him. Thank you so much, and we always thought of you. Even whenever there is a possibility of our meeting, whenever we visited the United States, he always used to say, "Just let's see whether we can come across Murali somewhere." Very, very nice.
The invitation is always open to all of you. If nothing else, I'll take you to the famous Indian temple here.
Balaji Temple in Pittsburgh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now with this time to share his thoughts, both on behalf of Endowment and on behalf of the family. Before that, please complete the formality of handing over the check.
I am humbled to receive on behalf of SAE India Foundation and SAE India. Nagarajan sir, please come. I would like to have our Vice President and Treasurer, Dr. Sri Nagarajan. It would be
come close to the photograph. With the photograph.
Yeah. One second. I would like to have Vice President and Treasurer, Dr. Nagarajan sir, on behalf of SAE India Foundation and SAE India. Thank you so very much. He's from Motor Vigadan, member of the press. Thank you for making it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sir, I hope that was okay, because I have to call Dr. Nara, senior most person with SAE India now, physically present.
So, Srimati Rashmi, Shri I.V. Rao, Shri Murli, Dr. Mahadevan, dignitaries from SAE, Shri A. Krishnamurthy, Chairman of Amalgamations, my friends and colleagues from Amalgamations, India Pistons and IP Rings. On behalf of my mother Sita, my brother Gautam, my family members, and the IP Rings family, we would like to thank SAE for helping us create this endowment in memory of my father and the late chairman of IP Rings, Shri N. Venkatramani. So thank you all very much. All of you have spoken so eloquently about my father's qualities. It was great to hear what Dr. Mahadevan had to say, and Murli recounting his experiences with him. Reshmi, Madam, you too. And yes, he was an extraordinary gentleman, and we continue to miss him sorely. As you are all aware, Sri Venkatramani was most closely associated with India Pistons and the Amalgamations Group. And in that role, he was responsible for promoting several companies and bringing about an association with several international companies as well. So his background as a highly accomplished mechanical engineer from the Imperial College in London obviously helped him to navigate this path. And especially in India, with its fast changing norms in the automotive world, I think this particular talent that he had in identifying technologies that would be cost effective and useful for India as a nation was extraordinary. And some of the partnerships that he was able to bring as part of his career was NPR of Japan. IP Ring still has a partnership and collaboration with NPR of Japan. We also had a successful relationship with Mahle of Germany up until 2011. And Valeo of France, that relationship still continues. And he was the face of amalgamations when it came to talking to potential international partners. IP Rings was a product of one such of his initiatives. The company was actually set up at a time when steel rings were unknown in the Indian automotive market. And before the industry could realize or recognize the potential that steel piston rings with specialty coating could have on emission and oil consumption and so on. The IP Rings was his brainchild, and he was responsible for bringing that technology into the country before anyone else. We were the first to do that. Similarly, around 2011, or 10 years into the history of the company, he once again was responsible for introducing a very unique forging technology called orbital cold forming. And we were India's first company to establish orbital cold forming. And this helped to create a near net shape cold forged gears. And this was, once again, he was far ahead of his time. This is so important and so relevant for products that require new standards of noise, vibration, and harshness, not only in India, but internationally. Today, we are probably the largest users of this orbital cold forming technology anywhere in the world, not only in India. And IP Rings exports almost 65% of its production to companies, automotive companies around the world. As a business leader, he was once again, and as a father, he was extraordinary. He was a great mentor to everyone he came across. He believed in the power and energy of youth, and many people who are logged in today, including, of course, Gautam and myself, had the privilege of being mentored by him. Many of us who are on the call today, we owe our careers to him, and the kind of coaching and mentorship that he provided to all of us. I think, therefore, it's most appropriate that the endowment has been created specifically to recognize young engineers who have demonstrated excellence in innovation and new initiatives in mobility engineering. It's a long sentence, but a very powerful one, and I need to thank Dr. Mahadevan for so carefully coining this, because every part of that statement holds a lot of pride in Sri and Venkatramani. Young engineers is something he was passionate about. Innovation and excellence was something that he lived through and through. And mobility engineering is where he spent most of his career. So I would once again like to thank Dr. Mahadevan for helping to initiate this whole thing, and to SAE for creating this endowment in memory of Sri and Venkatram. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ram. We are now coming to the close of the event today. We request Venkatram, Director of SAE India, to offer
I would like to stand up if it is okay with you, because I'm both young and small in the age and the knowledge with the doyens of industry around me. Respected Chairman of India Business Group, Sri Krishnamurthy Sir, respected Dr. Mahadevan, our past President and the doyen of Indian automotive industry, respected Ivy Robson, President of SAE India Foundation, respected Madam Odubishi Ji, President, the first woman President of SAE India, respected Murli Iyer, our guiding force from Warrendale to India, from the inception to till date. IP rings and India Business Fraternity, SAE India Fraternity, the leaders, Mr. Ram Venkatramani, Mr. Gautam Venkatramani, Sita Madam. I am humbled to accept the check and also deliver the word of thanks. What is driving us, ladies and gentlemen, is the technovation, the technology and the innovation in the mobility industry. And I am much young. In fact, Dr. Mahadevan said 1967 he has joined India as manager manufacturing services. I was born after that. So, but I've been in the Chennai automotive industry at various capacities, NIIT, TCS, IBM. I've had great respect for the amalgamation group, especially India Customs in terms of quality, part, excellence, and the innovation. As a seller, as a user, and now as the DDG of SAE India. Like Dr. Mahadevan said and Murli said, I think India Customs Group is one group which has been constantly supporting us through the decades. We are celebrating our Silver Jubilee year this year, SAE India 25th year, and India Customs as a group has been consistently supporting us through various vehicles, be it conference, roundtables, or technical papers, or organizing special meetings when SAE International President comes. We have grown breadth and width and the depth, I can say, in terms of automotive fraternity and the knowledge. This particular endowment, Mr. Gautam and Mr. Ram, will actually fuel the young engineers to go that one step forward. We have over 50,000 student members as of now and over 5,000 engineers from 150 mobility organizations. And this is a movement. This will help to inspire a set of young engineers to do something new, something in the technology. He was a true technovator, technology innovator in the mobility engineering. You have actually mentioned only a few, but I think he has done quite a bit, not only in terms of the IP rings or the steel or the forging, also on many of the design innovations, small things, and then run into a book. We are very, very humble to have received this endowment on behalf of SAE India Foundation and SAE India Society. We only hope that this movement will continue and we will continue to inspire the younger generation of India. Thank you very much, Dr. Mahadevan, for inspiring and taking this forward. I can understand the emotions when we were talking about Mr. Venkatramani. It's a long bond we all have with him. And thank you, Mr. Ram, for supporting this decision. Thank you, Mr. Gautam. Thank you, Sita Madam, and the entire management of India Customs and IP Rings. Thank you, Krishnamurthy ji. It's a wonderful opportunity. We hope to keep up the trust, the faith you have on us and continue to deliver value to our stakeholders, students, faculty members, young engineers, and industry captains of automotive fraternity. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, MC members. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkatraj. With that, we come to the close of today's event. And I'm sure you will agree with me that Mr. Venkatramani, wherever he is, will approve of what we have done today. And I'm sure he will be pleased with how things have gone this particular aspect. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.